Once again, I dragged you off into the remote areas of the boons. And could you imagine that we were going to end up any place that had significance?
No, I did not.
Were you afraid of chainsaws and hockey masks?
Yes, I was. Hey, Susie and Leslie here from Grannies on the Go with a new episode featuring the best landscape photography tips. Find and create sellable images in the middle of nowhere during a pandemic. The first 3 tips we have are to number 1, Google things to see in the neighborhood in which you'll be. Talk to the locals. They'll tell you great places to visit. And then drive and discover places on your own. For instance, we were driving to a place that someone had told us was really great to see, and we drove right past an old junkyard. So on with the adventure. In 2 days, we made 10 stops, and we'll give you tips on how to find these stops and how to take the pictures. Our first stop, a vineyard that we just happened to drive by on the way to another venue. In rural Missouri, near Fanning,
A vineyard.
it just looks to me like nothing. Why would you want to take a picture of that stuff?
Because you can do leading lines. So I made dynamic images of the vineyards, and I did a diagonal shot, and then I did a straight down like a railroad track kind of a shot with the little vineyards with the green little buds on them.
Show me how this works.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get these posts with the white on it, so step into the vineyard.
Okay.
Leaves in the sun. So, without blowing out the sensor because of the sun, get this shot. There it is. Cool.
And what was the point of that particular angle that you were trying to capture?
Because the sun is over here, this is backlit. See how these leaves are backlit? The beautiful bright green because the sun is hitting them. So on our side we only see the bright green, but we don't want to blow our sensor out. So we want to kind of work it to our advantage. Unless you want what they call the sun streaks that come in. It spoke to me. I thought it was pretty. And you know, it's shoot what you feel. It's shoot what you see, but shoot it the way you feel it, not exactly how you see it. So get that of whatever this is that's inside you that caught your eye, try and get that to come through in the image and work that image so that that message comes through. And then you've got a successful image.
And this is St. James, Missouri.
I would stand in the vicinity of where I'm standing so that I could place this white line from the roadway as a leading line on the right-hand side of the frame, and then you pick up the Derby sign right here on the left, and then you've got in the background the old Derby gas station. I call this the Forsaken Collection.
Like why?
Like
the Forsaken Collection, like why hast thou forsaken me?
Yes, like, you know, abandoned, which is sort of a play on what the Bible says when people cry out, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" If these buildings could talk, I kind of feel like that's what they say. That's what I'm talking about when I say shoot what you feel.
What made you want to stop here?
Spoke to me.
And what did it say?
It said, I'm forsaken and I'm falling apart, and I once housed lots of children learning things, and now they've neglected me. They moved on, they took their education from me and left me. There's 2 things going on here that I'm concentrating on. Besides the richness of the tones that I'm seeing in these buildings with the rusting roof and the textural decay on the sides, I call that caramel eye candy there. You've also got the railroad tracks with the leading line, but in addition, there's a bonus here. In addition to the exciting railroad tracks and the leading line, if you stand in the right spot, the railroad tracks are curving, and that's called a C-curve. whenever you can work a C-curve into the corners of your photographs, man, now you're talking, you're cooking. So the way I just shot this photo, I lined the tracks up in the left-hand corner of my frame with the buildings in the background, the railroad tracks on a C-curve running all the way through over to the right-hand side. I'm headlong into this. I just plunged right in. See?
Man, you took the plunge. Woo! So what do you love about this particular area?
This is really just all about the texture. For me, it's the texture of the rust. It's the leading lines that are involved with the way these old tracks are discarded, and as you look off into infinity here, you can see that they have a curve to them, so that's that C-curve thing that I was talking about. But the perfectly straight leading line in the beginning that just draws your eye in and down towards the infinity mark. Work that so that their eye just constantly moves through the photo, so that they see everything that you saw. Then you have a full, complete picture, literally speaking.
Wow, look! We found Bob's Gasoline Alley in Cuba on Beamer Drive. Well, why do you want to be here?
Well, I wanted to come here because of all of the old gas signs, like the Sinclair. Dino the Sinclair dinosaur. Do you remember Dino?
Oh,
they
yeah.
have a Sinclair sign. They have the famous white rose sign that everybody always wants to photograph. Like all of the cool signs. And there's an old car wrecked up there, an old truck. Cool.
Wow, this place is amazing, isn't it? So what is it about this place that you would love to take pictures?
Well, I think for me it's just history of Route 66. This is a private piece of property, a private collection. It represents old brands that I remember my parents traveled, and I remember like the DX and Zephyr gas when I was a kid as we'd travel. So to me it's just nostalgia. It's interesting photography.
So now we're on our way to the Dillard mill. Do you see?
Insane appliances on this place.
This looks like a Star Trek guy.
It's from the Vermiculi nebulous.
And basically, it is a tree trunk. Here we are, framed by a tree. So Leslie, I see you taking out your tripod. What is it that interests you here?
Oh, there's so much going on. I see C-curves. I see a C-curve in the other direction. I see the potential for slow or shutter or long exposure. And in long exposure, I'm going to need my tripod because I can't hold still that long because I have to breathe. So I'm going to do some long exposures, maybe 2 minutes, and hopefully these wonderful clouds will be moving fast enough. 2-3 minute exposure where I can get that. I've got a wonderful 10-stop filter. It's like welder's glass, so that should work.
This is a rough road to walk. An extraordinary mill. So now we say, where is Leslie? And if you look very, very, very closely, you will see her taking pictures. Okay, so I didn't follow you down because it's too hot and I don't do well with a lot of heat. So what were you taking pictures of down there on that sandbar, rock bar?
Well, I put on my 10-stop neutral density filter, focused in before I put the filter on, and then shot varying views of the mill with the falls, and then the little set of rapids here in the foreground, and the falls in the background with the mill. And then I did a couple of shots of just the little rapids here, because there's a wonderful log piece of driftwood that's just on the precipice of going over the little rapids. And as far as, you know, when you want to anchor something in the bottom corner of a photo, it was just like, it had to be done. So I spent 3 minutes on exposures of that. So I was doing 3-minute exposures on average, some 2, some 2.5. But 3-minute exposures just to make all of that nice and smooth and silky water.
Beautiful. While Leslie was taking photographs downstream of the mill, I walked up so that you could see it closer and also enjoy the falls. And then there's Leslie all the way across in the floodplain. What are you doing? All right, so my question is, I went straight for the falls, and you went across from the falls. Why did you go over there?
Down to the beach there?
Yeah, why'd you go to the beach? We came to see the Dillard Mill.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I could see it from down there. No, because to me, the story. Yeah, there's a story in the mill, and but I chose to use the mill as an anchor point in the background, because to me the story is the waterfall and the power of the waterfall. And without that came first before the mill ever came along. It was the people that wanted to harness that power, and then they put up the mill. So to me, I wanted to get the mill in the background, the waterfall, and then this curving beach, and how it comes down and does this little set of rapids here before it goes off to its termination, wherever that is. But that's my story, and that's the story I wanted to capture.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
Right.
Well, that's beautiful. I'd never thought of that the real meaning of this is that power that someone harnessed. And I do have a lovely video of the water coming through where the stone used to go to crush the
where
grain.
They were crushing the grain, the grindstone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's red, and that's a primary color, and you get too close and that just consumes the whole composition of the photo. I choose to just put it as a pop of color in the background.
So you actually see red.
Actually, I'm looping right now.
You're loopy. I think I'm a little loopy. We need to go get some water.
Drops are cold. It's like,
that's cold rain.
Ooh, that's a cold shower right there.
So, what did you see up on the hill there, girl?
Just happened to notice there's a old log cabin. It's probably like a root house or storehouse of some type, but I saw this, is that Queen Anne's lace or something like that right here, that because there's no color because of the clouds and the rain happening, but this Queen Anne's lace grabbed my attention on the right hand side to accent this gray-green background with the cabin, the log cabin. So I wanted to grab that photo. That speaks to me.
It's cool. I had never thought of going out on a rainy day to take pictures.
The muted tones that you can get when it's got gray tones in the sky make the whites and things and the intense greens really pop.
Leslie is going to go outside in the pouring rain because there is an extraordinary picture up ahead.
Okay, that's cold rain.
So we're at the Snelson Brinker House, the early courthouse of Crawford County. And this is just one of the places on our Route 8 in Steelville. And it's amazing. Just by the side of the road, right when you think things are getting dull, you find a very famous old courthouse. So Leslie, what's the allure of taking a picture of this landscape?
Well, this is truly in the abandoned category of photography genre. There's nothing more abandoned and destitute than this, unfortunately.
So as a landscape photographer, what do you want to capture at this juncture?
Just to me today this is just the feeling of the property, the feeling that the buildings have some natural framing between these tree trunks right here. This old, like, I don't know what that is. It's almost like a big scrub pine. It's almost like a pine you see out west, you know? Have you noticed? Look at those branches. It's way different. Let's see if I can't do a star. The width is right. Move it down a little bit. Maybe I can do a star.
Complete with an outdoor plumbing. Ooh, look at this roof. It's beautiful. So we're at this amazing junkyard where a man collects old cars. We just saw this old horse trailer and an old international truck pulling it. Look at this guy.
Yeah, my boy run a figure eight up here at the fair. We sit down here and I've been moving these. I'm gonna crush a lot of
Lord. And this barn with the weathered wood and the Royal Crown sign. That's just cool stuff right there.
So tell me about this picture. What inspired you to tell me to stop here? Right.
Yelled, stop the car. Well, a waterfall, and this is a natural waterfall. And then I saw the dogwood or the Chilean lace in that pine tree, so I'm going to get a number of images here. But the purple flowers growing out of the rock there, that's simply by the water coming right down. You can see the waterfall all the way up. It's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to fire off my shutter and stand away.
Beautiful. We'll put those up, and then perhaps there'll be a way for people to get a copy.
Yeah, I'd love to have people buy some of my prints. That would be awesome.